Hello, Meg here from I Teach Stamping, and welcome to the Friday Flip. So the Friday Flip is where we take one project idea that we see out in the world and we flip it into a different paper crafting one. So let's go ahead and jump in with this one. We're going to start with a Christmas theme card, this one right here. What really got my attention on this one was having the subtle background layer and also having the ribbon at the top. But I wanted to make this into a fall card, so let's go ahead and do exactly that. I love this stamp set that we're about to use. We're going to be using the For All Things. Now, I will tell you, I modified one of them, and that's what we're going to start with. So it's this stamp here. This should be all together on one block. But I saw the versatility of this stamp set, of not just being fall. While the acorns may be a little fallish, this is perfect for spring. You can use this anytime. I mean, you can go nuts with this stamp set, so don't feel like you're always locked in with one particular thing. So what I did is I separated out those stamps on the back, and then I just cut the wood in half. Well, not in half, into about a third. You know what I mean. I cut the wood. There we go. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to start with the ribbon, then do our stamping. And I'm going to start with a piece of Cajun Craze, and it's going to be 4 3/4 by 2 1/4. So I'm going to cut up from the bottom, right in the middle, about 3/4 of an inch. It doesn't have to be exact, but I don't want to go too far in. And then I'm going to cut from the corner up to where I cut there, and then do the same thing over here. Now this Cajun is going to be where my ribbon is going to go, at the very top. So let's go ahead and do that. So now we have that cut. We're going to bring in some liquid glue, and I'm going to put a little drop of glue on one corner there. Pick this piece up, and I'm going to leave it hanging off. But what I want to do is with about an inch, inch and a half, about an inch, I'm just going to take a little clothespin so it'll hold that glue or that ribbon in place with the glue. I'm going to take this and twist. I'm going to add a little dot of glue here to the middle. Twist and twist and twist. We're going to catch that piece right there. And I'm not going to put another clothespin in place just yet, and you'll see why. Forgot I needed another drop of glue. And we're going to twist and twist and twist. And take another little clothespin and hold it in place. So I'm not worried about real symmetry with this. Oh, darn it. See, this is what happens when you get in a hurry and you're ready to move on to the next section. This is one of the reasons why I love liquid glue, but also one of the reasons why I hate liquid glue. All right. There we go. All right, so we're just going to let that set. Okay, and then that little dot in the middle, you can grab in another clothespin if you need to, but we do want it to be stuck down in the middle. Okay, so now that my ribbon has driven me nuts for the day, we can move on. So we're going to move on to a piece of Very Vanilla that's going to be 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. And we're going to take this guy here in some Old Olive ink, and I'm going to stamp off onto my scratch paper and then stamp here. All right, so we've got that. Then we're going to bring in this stamp right here. We're going to do this one twice, but we're going to add some enhancements to it. So I'm teaching this because it was a recent blog post that I did, and I had several questions on how I did this. So first we're inking it up in crushed curry. Then we're going to go through with some Cajun Craze, and you're using the brush end of your marker. You just want to thump all around. This is another time to not be in a hurry. This is Cherry Cobbler ink. And then we're going to go in with some Old Olive. All right. Once you have that done, give it the breath of life. And that warm, moist air from your mouth is just going to moisten that ink back up. That's why you don't have to be in a hurry when you do that. And looky there. All right, so then we're going to go and we're going to clean it real quick. And we're going to do it again. And we're ready to bring in another piece of Very Vanilla. It's going to be 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. Breath of Life once again. We're just going to stamp it down into that bottom left-hand corner. Ta-da! All right, now, last ink pad coming up. We're going to use Cherry Cobbler. And we're going to do a quick little lesson on the Stamp-A-Majig in case you've never used it. But I love my Stamp-A-Majig. You get this piece and you get an imaging sheet. But what I like to do is take vellum cardstock and cut it into squares. So I'm going to take the Hello. Get your Cherry Cobbler going. So the Stamp-A-Majig is just a stamp positioner. So you can stamp exactly where you want to every single time. So I've got my imaging sheet. I'm going to fit it up into the T. It's for right-handed and left-handed. I'm right-handed. Then I'm going to put the stamp into the T and stamp. Then I'm going to bring this over. Decide exactly where I want it. Fit the T back in place. Move the imaging sheet out of the way. Ink up our stamp into the T and stamp, and then it's exactly where we want it every single time. Okay, so our stamping is done, all this is done. Now we're ready to do our assembly. So let's talk about our card base and the next layer. So the card base, actually let's do the inside real quick. So the card base is going to be crushed curry, 4 1/4 by 11 inches, scored at 5 1/2. We're going to drop this piece into the inside there. And boom, just like that, the inside of our card is done. Then we're going to come back in with a piece of crushed curry. And this one's going to be 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. And I just ran it through the honeycomb embossing folder ahead of time. So this one right here, to give me that fabulous texture. Then we're going to attach this piece here onto a piece of Old Olive that's hidden underneath everything there. It's going to be 3 inches by 3 inches. Then we're going to attach this onto this layer. Okay, we're going to take this off. Yay, it's nice and dry. So we're going to give this a trim. And don't worry, I'm not just going to leave this hanging off the edge here. But we can now attach this in place on our card. Then we're going to bring our liquid glue back in. We're going to take another glob glue right there. We're going to take a little bow that I tied with the same ribbon. If you're not good with bows, remember to always grab the 10-second bow maker. It'll help you tie a perfect bow every time. We're going to drop this in place. All right, so while we let that dry, let's bring our inspiration back in. So we started with this, so we changed it to this. We got an awesome looking card, kept the ribbon, kept the background texture that I like, and made it into a fall card. Thank you so much for joining me for this week's Friday Flip. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. If you like this project, please be sure to like it below and also be sure to share it with your friends. Again, I'm Meg from I Teach Stamping, and have a great day!